It's muggy today. It's Friday, was it the 24th? No, I don't even know what day it is. Friday, 25th or 26th of April, I think. Wanted to get out to the woods because I skipped a couple runs this week. I've had a habit of bringing the camera with me on runs and not pulling it out. Not wanting to commit myself to, frankly, want to edit anything later is what it is. And it's one of the reasons why this is called Doing It Wrong.
Doing It Wrong with Nader Kane.
So, I have a vague plan today. This wasn't a scheduled run, it wasn't on my calendar, but I missed Wednesday and Thursday this week, or at least yesterday. I don't know. I'm not technically training for anything at the moment because, well, don't have the money for an entry in any race. But in June, there's the Juneteenth Trail Half in DC that I plan on doing, and a buddy of mine has taken over as race director for the Maryland Heat 25 and 50Ks. And I talked to him about possibly getting to do that one in August. Today's, I don't know, 8.5, 9.5 miles in Patapsco State Park. Don't know what the elevation will be because Kamut always underestimates it. So I figure maybe 1,500 feet, not sure. God, it's hot. We've had an incredibly dry spring, and because of that, the trails are considerably buffed out right now. But a little soft, sort of like, I don't know, there's a good amount of clay content without it being ridiculous around here, where when it's muddy, it'll be properly slippery, but otherwise not the worst. This is about as good looking and runnable as things get. The thing I love about this park is there are flowy runnable areas and stuff that's super technical, where if you run, you're just asking to break your ankle. And I mean that in a fun way. Tons and tons and tons of rocks and roots. I've never been down to this section. We have a tree that went whoopsie daisy. It says have a right turn. Let's see where this right turn goes, or how this right turn goes. Okay, it literally says turn right. Maybe I was supposed to go to the other side of our little wall here. I can probably just climb it. Doing climby things. Let's see. And yes, this is where we're continuing. Not too high. I do suspect that I've been tricked and there isn't good or proper trail this way, but I'm gonna trust the watch and we'll find out what happens. This is not what I would call a popular route or route or trail. All right, I'm going to climb up this, and I feel like I fucked around enough, and that is what I want. So I guess it's time to go back uphill. Summer, yeah, I think it was summer 2024, I got turned on to this thing called Wanderer, which is like missing an E. W-A-N-D-R-E-R. What you do is you connect it to Garmin or ride with GPS account or what have you, and it keeps track of your personal sort of heat map. But instead of heat map, it just cares if you've traversed a path, a road, trail one time. Two categories, foot and bike. And I thought it might be fun to make a point, instead of doing the same routes, same loops, I've never liked out and back. A loop, you sort of have to commit to it, and out and back you can you can turn around early. But the idea of mixing it up and exploring and looking at different things, I thought was pretty appealing. So as of now, I have, including trails that don't exist, about 75% of every trail and path inside of Patapsco State Park. And I think we have about 275, if I recall, 265, 85 miles of unique trail here. And I think a hair over a third of Howard County, which I don't remember offhand the unique miles. But it's been a fun way to sort of set goals without them being performance oriented, because I'm slow, and keep things interesting where I can feel like I've achieved things just with time spent. Gives me stuff to look forward to. I'm not a competitive person. I like competing with myself. I love descending. It's my favorite. Earlier I said I wasn't training for anything, but that actually hasn't been true. This winter and spring so far, I've been training for races that exist that I just don't have a bib for. Over the winter, there was the Hat 50, and Dirty German is coming up next in Philly, but I can't go. The Dirty German, which is, I understand, a very runnable 50 outside of Philly. That's what training program I put together is for. I'm just not gonna be able to be there for for the event. So instead, I'll just run a 50 that day. One thing that has been fantastic is I finally figured out how to stop needing to buy or thinking that I need to buy. Which way are we going? I'll go this way. Gels and mixes and all that sort of stuff. It's absolutely not necessary. And I started off just putting sugar and table salt or kosher salt in my water, and found out that works pretty well for me up to about 2 hours. Another thing that's fantastic are, and it's hard to see them in here, these are watermelons. Sour Patch Kid watermelons. They're cheap as hell. 9 of them is 100 calories, but we don't count calories. Makes it like 22 grams of carbs or so. And they're a way of just sort of mixing things up. But for bigger output days, I've learned, one, in general, to use sodium citrate instead of table salt. I'm sweaty, so I do a teaspoon of sodium citrate an hour, which is functional, I think, about the equivalent of, from what I understand, the half of a teaspoon of table salt. I could have it backwards, but so far it's been working for me well. And sugar will overwhelm me after a while, so I went and got some maltodextrin and fructose, and I mixed them. Starting off 60 grams an hour in a 500 ml water bottle. Do 33 grams of maltodextrin and 27 of the fructose. The first 60 grams, I'll do 33 grams of maltodextrin and 27 of fructose. And that gives you the same ratio as like the Science and Sport or SIS beta stuff, and it's that whole 1 to 0.8 ratio of different kinds of sugars that a lot of folks are a fan of. And I found doing that helps keep the glucose side of things low enough that I don't get tummy troubles. I was having some issues 3-hour runs, 4-hour runs, where frankly I would just feel the need to shit, and I don't trust these sold-out souls, and it was awful because I guess things would just stay in my stomach and not, my stomach wouldn't empty. I'd end up sort of just getting bloated. And with that, I don't need to worry about gels being on sale or any of that stuff. The ingredients are just so cheap. It's like ridiculous to buy any of those products. And honestly, it's not even worth the convenience as far as I'm concerned. If you need to bring more than you initially can fill or want to fill bottles with, you can just mix it together, put it in a small Ziploc bag and throw it in your vest, and then mix it in your bottle later. Halfway through a race, or when you make a pit stop to refill water or something. And salt, I can't believe people spend so much money on salt. I want to start a hydration company and call it Lament. And I'll charge you $2.50 for 6 cents worth of sodium citrate and a little bit of flavoring. And you can buy it from me and then lament about how stupid of a decision that was and how you wish somebody had told you that there was a better way. Lament. I think that would be pretty easy to trademark. All right, well, I don't need these. Oh yeah, forgot I'm wearing a red hat today, which I've been, frankly, wish I never bought a number of years ago, because, you know, red hats are kind of ruined. And if red hats are ruined, well, maybe I can take them back. I was thinking about it. This is sort of my post-democracy camouflage. It's a Tracksmith hat that I should have bought the blue one, but whatever. Just in case somebody, you know, finds out that I don't know, give a shit about the welfare of others, care about the human experience. I would rather be generous than not. In case, I don't know, the powers that be find out that I'm not one of them, maybe wearing this hat will help me blend into the fascists. Autocracy camouflage. When I was in my late teens, I had a bunch of friends in North Carolina, and I would go down there quite frequently, play music and hang out. Around that same time, I was at a thrift store and I found a foam and mesh back trucker hat with an NRA logo on it. This was like probably 1993 or 4. 75 cents. And it's the kind of thing that I would never wear, because frankly, I don't like guns. Never did. I've had them pointed at me. I've had them shot at me. It's really terrible experience. But when I go to North Carolina to visit my friends, I would wear that NRA hat, and then I figured people in the sticks would be less likely to find out that I was one of those left-wing atheist Jews. And for the most part, it worked. Crazy. All right, last stretch on our way back to the car. Purpose of today's run is just to move my body, keep things easy. Very tired today. On top of the heat, I only got like 3.5 hours of sleep last night because I don't sleep well, and I'm just dragging. I put a little caffeine in my bottle. Oh, that's another trick. Caffeinated gels and all that stuff. There's a company called 4C. They make like iced tea mix and lemonade mix and things like that. Well, they have these little packets of like a flavored drink mix. Don't have any calories, but they have like 300 milligrams of sodium and I think 120 or 150 of caffeine. They're called Energy Rush with taurine or whatever. A little box of 18 is maybe $6, but a box of 40 it's like $8.50. So they're pennies. Instead of spending $3.50 on a caffeine gel that might have half of a mug of coffee's worth of caffeine in it, you can have these little packets that just go in your water that are cheap as hell. Pennies, a nickel, a dime. Not $3. All right, let's get back to the car. And here we are. Let's see. What do we do? .15 and 12-minute pace because just taking it easy. Did a lot of walking. Didn't want to be tired, and I'm not. Feel good. Now for my non-training plan, training plan, or which, yeah, there is a matter of what's on the docket. It's a matter of what's on the docket tomorrow, and I forget which it is, but this weekend is, I think it's a lighter one, which is 2.5 hour, and then like easy run, and then a 3.5 hour with the last hour at marathon pace or half marathon pace or something. I'll need to check. But anyway, feels good. All right, time to jump in the car and make my way home. It's, oh, elevation, I was wondering earlier, 1322. So, right in that window where Komoot, the route, said it was going to be like 650 or 700 or something like that. So I always know to sort of double it, and then it ends up being accurate. I don't understand how hard it is, but hey, they're owned by private equity now, I understand, but otherwise they spent a number of years fighting the good fight and building a pretty decent product until it went to a subscription model. If there is an alternative to subscription still available, I don't know. It's Komoot, KOMOOT.com. They were originally they're a German company, and frankly had the best sort of route planning software that I had ever used. They have a mobile app, you can navigate that way as well, but their stuff was awesome. Ah, mosquitoes. The sun's going down. It's time to get in the car, not get eaten. Yeah, does that work? All right. Have my shake. Put a little freezy pack in it before I left. Start drinking it before we drive away. This is an old Subaru that has reasonable, well, formerly reasonable, small cup holder, single one. Oh, and then one in the dash that's in a terrible location. So there isn't anything that I have that fits, which is actually kind of great. I appreciate it. All right, let's get out of here. Sometimes I've scared them off, sometimes I don't, which actually kind of concerns me. But gonna make my way home, make some dinner, and prepare for a busy weekend of chores and some things that are required in order for me to be able to sell my house. That wasn't bad.